Have you ever felt overwhelmed? Kind of like you got 5 important projects that you need to get done, but nothing's getting done fast enough? That's what people feel 2 steps before they burn out. And by burning out, I don't mean that they're literally collapsing and getting sick. Burnout is when you stop being effective, meaning you're thinking about 10 things when you should be laser focused on one task that moves the needle the most before moving on to the next task. Burnout is the opposite of productivity. And there's millions of videos out there that talk about boosting your productivity, but if just the thought that there's millions of videos out there that are talking about boosting productivity makes you feel overwhelmed, then your problem is not productivity. It's that you're burning out in some way. Fix that, and I promise your productivity will skyrocket. It doesn't matter if we're talking about you as the owner or somebody on your team. Burnout is amazingly simple to prevent. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do that in each one of my portfolio companies and how it's worked for decades in business for me and also for the leaders in each side of each one of my companies. Because burnout has very little to do with overworking. And that's where most people get this wrong. That's why there's people who can work 10 plus hours a day and be super energized while somebody else is working 5 hours a day and feel completely overwhelmed. In fact, hard work is fulfilling for most people. And certainly if you're anything like me at least, then hard work is one of the metrics that we use to determine whether or not we're having a great day. And by the way, it energizes us. It's having a big, worthwhile goal and moving closer to that goal every single day so that your day ends where you're feeling fulfilled because you're moving closer to your targets. And those big goals require hard work, not only because it's usually the fastest way to bring that into fruition, but because it makes us feel productive as business people. Hell, have you ever known somebody who's achieved big things in life, but they were still depressed, or they were constantly searching for something that made them happy? That's because when things come into our life too easily, it doesn't fulfill us as entrepreneurs as much as when we work hard and then achieve something we really, really want. When I'm being interviewed and I get asked for some of the most memorable accomplishments in my life, the things that made me the most proud in business are not the magazines that I've been featured in or the projects that made millions or the companies of mine that generated more in a week than most companies generate in a year. What jumps into my head every single time is the massive hard work that I put into building my first real company, where I was working more than 16 hours a day, and I put so much pressure on myself that I was literally forced to become better every single day in order to move the needle. So here's the differentiator between somebody who burns out and somebody who doesn't. Here's how to prevent burnout in yourself and also anybody else on your team. It's understanding that the cause of burnout is never hard work. The cause of burnout is whether or not you have friends fighting alongside you every step of the way. Your employees, they will go to war for you. They will work late for you. They won't complain, and they will gain amazing personal satisfaction out of working hard to achieve a worthwhile goal as long as they have friends in your business, teammates, who are working right alongside them the whole way. On the other hand, the easiest job in the world, even if you're working from freaking the comfort of your own home, right on the couch with your dog sitting on your lap and your husband or your wife cooking your meals for you, those people who have it easy but feel like they're all alone in their work, they'll get burned out fastest every single time. And if you feel alone growing a business, and by the way, you can feel alone with 100 employees, but if you feel alone, the level of growth that you have is significantly retarded and slowed down because subconsciously, you feel like you bear the cost of making every single big decision alone. The solution to growing a business in today's crazy world is not reading more books or watching a bunch of bullshit videos that tell you that you need to learn even more. The solution to growing a business in today's world is putting together the right team to get you to your goal. And the right team always begins, no matter how big your company is right now, whether you're a solopreneur or you've got 100 people on your team right now, the right team always begins with one person who's aligned with hitting the same goal you're aimed at, who's supportive of you, and who maybe even knows more than you. That person becomes a trusted team member, somebody that you're willing to go to war with, and they're willing to go to war with you, meaning that alone you're great, but together you're 10 or 20 or 50 times more effective, and you're both amazingly grateful for that. When that happens, real companies get built in amazingly short periods of time. So you need someone to work with, to brainstorm with, to maybe even complain to. If you're an entrepreneur with a growing business, then you have a fiduciary responsibility to your company to find at least one kick-ass person who will be there for you to help cut years off of your success curve, somebody who knows more than you and is willing and eager to help you hit your targets. I get approached by business owners all the time asking me if I'll partner with them in some way to help them grow. And for some of those companies, if I say yes, that's a massive win. But for others, I'm not the right person, right? They need a board of advisors, or they need a board of directors, or they might need a business partner who owns part of the profits with them. And that's the pivot point in your business. The point where you could look back on and say, that's the moment everything changed for the better. That's the moment you transfer your focus away from just generating revenue to finding one person who's going to help you win. Because at that point, you become an unstoppable force, right? And burnout doesn't even enter the equation. Now, for our team members, to prevent burnout in our team, we have somebody called a relationship manager in each of our companies whose sole responsibility is to create experiences that bond people who work with us. And their job is not just for W-2 employees. Their job is to create a bond of friendship and camaraderie with every employee, every vendor, and every independent contractor that we use, so that nobody ever feels alone as they charge forward and do what's needed to be done in order for us to reach the next level of growth. And when you do this, you'll grow more and you'll feel more fulfilled, and your team will feel like they're part of a movement that they could be proud of.